Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to go over the Zion Oil and Gas proposals that they sent out to all of the shareholders. I'm going to break down some of the key ones that seem a little bit confusing. We're going to go and actually explain what they mean, why they're doing it, and I'll show you how you can yourself access these documents and kind of dive in and do your own research as well. So just to reiterate, guys, I'm not a financial advisor. Make sure you do your own research. This is for entertainment purposes only. So let's go ahead and dive on into it, guys. So the annual meeting for Zion Oil and Gas is going to be Wednesday, June the 9th, 2021. And your deadline to vote on these proposals are going to be June 8th, 2021 by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so we'll go through these proposals really quickly, and then I'll kind of backtrack and do the other parts of the video that I was talking about earlier as far as research and telling you how to do your own research. So first several proposals I'm not going to personally break down because these are talking about basically allowing these directors to serve for another 3 years. So that's going to be something that each individual person is going to have to do their own research on and due diligence on and kind of form their own opinion on what they want to do. So if you don't know any of these people here, okay, and you want to know a little bit more about them, go over to Zion Oil and Gas, hover over Vision, go down to Zion Oil and Gas Leadership, and you're going to get just kind of a brief description of who this person is, their background with the company, their background everywhere else. So you see John Brown here, and you can keep on coming back down, and you'll eventually find some of the other people that are up for renewal, such as Kent Siegel. There's another one there. So you can go through there and do your own research and read and kind of make your own decision on if you want that person to serve another 3 terms as a director. So if you plan on being with this stock for the long haul and for more than a year or two, then you can do some careful consideration on if you are pleased with the job that they're doing, if you want to maybe see some changes, or if you're really not sure, then you could just abstain from that particular question and say I'm not gonna answer that, I'm gonna bypass that. Okay guys, so the next one that they're bringing up, it says amend the company's amendment and reinstate certificate of incorporation to increase the number of shares of common stock per value 1 cent that the company is authorized to issue from 400 million to 800 million. So the board recommends that the shareholders vote for this, okay? But what does this mean exactly? Why are they doing this? We're going to actually go through the proxy statement, and I'm going to read through why they're doing this and what it means if you vote for, what it means if you vote against, and let you, kind of sit down and think about it and make that decision on your own. Okay guys, if you want to follow along, you're going to go ahead and hit proxy statement. And it's going to ask you, this link will open a page outside of proxy vote. That's fine because you're not going to lose your place. It's just going to open a new window. Then you're going to go down to the proxy statement and you're going to look at download PDF. A lot easier to read. It's going to pop up. You're going to make it a little, you can actually X out of this part now, and you're going to make this bigger. And you're going to go down and look for a section or page 43. We're going to scroll all the way down here. 41, 42. All right, here we go. So now we're getting to the proposal. So the proposal 1, they're just talking about the board of directors again. Okay, we'll go down to page 42 on proposal. Actually, it looks like 48 because you have some blank pages in there. But proposal number 2. All right, that's where we're talking about the stock issue of common stock. Okay, and so they're wanting to basically increase the outstanding number of shares from 400 million to 800 million. So I'm going to focus on a couple of key areas here, and then I will move on to the next one. So it says, because of the limited number of shares of common stock available to be issued by the company for future transactions, including stock dividends, stock splits, equity financing, strategic acquisitions, and reserves, for possible future assistance of warrants through the direct stock purchasing program. The board believes it is in its best interest of the company and the stockholders to amend. Amend means basically to change or make better the company's articles, and the board has unanimously approved and voted to recommend that the stockholders approve the proposed amendment to the certificate of incorporation, whereby the number of shares of common stock that would be authorized to issue from time to time would be increased up to 800 million shares. If the amendment is approved by the stockholders at the annual meeting, we intend to file the amendment with the Secretary of State of Delaware as soon as reasonably practicable, and after such approval, and will become effective upon filing. Okay, so let's talk about why they're doing that. The addition of shares of common stock when issued have the same rights and privileges of the shares of common stock issued now. Okay, so let's kind of go down and find what they're going to need that for. Here we go. The board believes that the company may need to secure financing in the near term for working capital to fund its exploration and field development program and possibly drilling equipment acquisitions, for which financing could involve the issuance and reserve for future issuance of additional shares of common stock and warrants. Our board believes that the complexity of modern business financing and acquisition transactions require greater flexibility in our capital structure than now exists. The board believes that an increase in the authorized common stock would provide us with the increased flexibility in the future to issue capital stock in connection with public or private offerings, stock dividends, splits, financing for acquisition transactions, employee benefit plans, other proper corporate purposes. Moreover, having an additional authorized shares of common stock available will give us the ability to issue stock without the expense and delay of a special meeting of stockholders, which delay might deprive us of the flexibility and the board views as important in facilitating the effective use of the stock, except as otherwise required by applicable law or any applicable stock exchange rules. Authorized but unissued shares may be issued at such time, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so basically they're wanting to do this that way. They believe that they're going to need more funding for more equipment for those more wells when they find oil, and they basically don't want to be held up if they need to do this. Okay, so they're trying to get ahead of the game, I guess, in a sense. All right, so the downfall of this, obviously, or the good thing about that, is they're trying to be proactive in it, and that way they can try to secure funding quicker. That way it doesn't hold them up as much. The downfall, let's just talk. We'll read these paragraphs and it'll kind of say it in there. An issuance of additional shares of common stock would increase the number of outstanding shares. Okay, the percentage of ownership of existing stockholders would be diluted accordingly. That's the very, very big downfall for us, obviously, is it's going to dilute our shares anytime you add existing shares. So that stinks for sure. Okay, the dilutive effect of such assurance could discourage a change in control by making it more difficult or costly. However, the current widely held shares of companies' common stock among many individual shareholders, both domestic and foreign, already have made change of control difficult and costly. We are not aware of anyone seeking to accumulate common stock or obtain control of our company, and have no present intention to use additional authorized shares to deter or change in control. The failure to approve the proposed amendment can limit us in connection with future capital raising transactions or other strategic transactions if such transactions require us to issue common stock to reach important capital markets. If our shareholders do not approve this proposed amendment, it limits our ability to compete in the capital marketplace and exchange shareholder value through the development of our new license areas, acquisitions, and other strategic transactions. In such cases, we may lose opportunities due to the time delay and uncertainty. Okay, so the downfall, guys, obviously is for us short term, the dilution, right? It's going to dilute our shares, which sucks. Okay, but the downfall on it, if it's not approved, that if they need this funding to move forward. And if you're in this for the long haul, then that sucks for the people who are in it for the long haul, because it's going to delay it even further. For the short-term investor, okay, who wants to cash out, and the dilution is not the way to go. But for the longer term, it looks like it might be, man. It's that's something to really think about and pray about, because that's a kind of a big decision. But the board obviously thinks it's a good decision. They're voting for it. Okay, so it's really something to consider. All right, let's move on to the next one. Okay, so the next one is the ratification of the independent registered public accounting firm. So ratification, that means the signing of, like the agreement. They're wanting to bring these people back with Zion Oil and Gas for another extended length. Okay, so if we look at the fiscal year 2019, the total fees compared to 2020, it's a drop of about 5%. Okay, so that's a good thing. The board does recommend that we vote yes on this as well, to be for the ratification of this. So I'll probably go that route for that for sure. Okay, guys, so the last one talks about the 2021 Omnibus stock plan. So before we get into that and talk about Zions, then we want to kind of understand what that is. And this is kind of common for all companies to have this to vote with their shareholders. So I just want to break down exactly what this is before we talk a little bit about Zion Oil and Gas. There's an omnibus stock plan compromises a number of different programs that encompass a range of employee, executive, board member, and consultant incentives. They cover common and preferred stock options and bonuses generally tied to performance. Okay. The key driver of these plans is aligned to the financial interests of all who work for the company and those of shareholders. While some companies limit such plans to top executives and board members, more corporations are realizing the benefits of the omnibus stock plans. The first one, they talk about a number of shares, and it talks about giving additional authorized stock for those particular people. And one good thing I see about the Zion Oil and Gas is they say here, an open-ended plan without stock limits could well cause unanticipated share dilution in stakes held by existing shareholders. And I know that Zion Oil and Gas has a cap, like they actually give you a number of the new authorized shares. Okay, so at least that kind of coming in. I believe it's maybe 18 million. I'll have to double check real quick. So it's not just an open-ended type deal. It says stock options and restricted awards, performance awards and bonus shares, okay, as well as stock appreciation rights. So that's what this is dealing with, guys. It's basically like the incentive programs for those directors and board members and things of that nature. So we're going to look just briefly at some things from this document. And then I'm going to link that entire document, the proxy statement, in the link below. Highly recommend that you guys take a look at it and dive into it and do your own due diligence. Okay, guys, you can see here it goes by, it says authorized an additional 18 million shares. Okay, so like we said, it's not just an open-ended type deal. I'm just going to browse through to show you the different sections you can read through compared to what we just saw on that website I was on. So if you just kind of go down here, it'll talk about like really all the details of the plan. Okay, it's very, very detailed and tells you everything. And it goes down, it talks about this, it's actually the summary of the plan to make it a little quicker for you. And it says the plan is administered by the committee. All members thereof must satisfy the independent requirements of NASDAQ and OTC, which that's kind of a good thing, because it makes me feel like they're going to eventually try to get back onto the NASDAQ index as well. Okay, and if you come down here, it shows eligibility, and then it shows types of awards, options, restricted stock units, stock appreciation rights, performance awards, and it goes other stock awards, cash-based awards, dividend equivalents. So it goes very detailed, kind of talking, like from the website that we just looked off of. So guys, I hope this helped. Sorry it's a little bit longer than normal, but again, you have until June 8th to decide, so make sure you do your own research. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Take care.